Fun football season's back, and you are on with Coach's Corner 2008. My name's Andy Bort. So glad to have you with us. Before we talk to our head coach, Jeff Hand, we're going to take it back to Tiffin, Ohio, and see what happened in the first half of the Titan football game against Heidelberg. And the Titans underway with their football season for 2008, and what better way to do it than to give the ball off to the other team right away. Going to see how their defense shapes up against Heidelberg. This is Roddy with the ball, going to try and get himself a good score here on the first drive of the game. And here comes Roddy down the field and gets into Westminster Titan territory very early. And the Titans going to have to play some pretty tough defense here. Watch Jamar Lewis, number 3, get into the end zone for a touchdown, giving them a 7-0 lead. Titans first possession. Here's Nick McCloskey. We thought he was going to do some great things this year, and look at the first play from scrimmage for him this season. A nice 11-yard game, but it was pretty much all Heidelberg in this first half. Andrew Miller, the quarterback, doing numbers on the Titans secondary, and this long pass play of 52 yards shaping up Heidelberg for another touchdown. They scored on 9 of their 13 possessions for the entire game. And Andrew Miller going out and getting another long pass. This time it's Roddy once again getting to the 3-yard line, and on the very next play from scrimmage, another pass into the end zone. This time it is Miller to a wide open player. This time it is Mike Preston, and he's going to put the Heidelberg team up by another touchdown. Now the Titans going to try and answer 21-0 in the second quarter. And Kevin Franz set himself a milestone, got himself 4,000 yards for his career with that 25-yard pass to Chad Rossatelli. And the Titans seeming like they're trying to get some momentum to get into the second half and try to whittle the deficit down. And here's Fred Romeo. Set himself a milestone, too. A 34-yard field goal is true, and that is his longest career field goal. Had another one a little bit later in the game, too. Titans down 21-3. But as we said in the first half, it was a little too much Heidelberg. Once again, Andrew Miller at quarterback doing numbers on this Titan defense. Ended up throwing for 330 yards. Another completion, this time for 48 yards. And they just could not seem to figure out what to do in the secondary against this offense. So time to get a new quarterback in, Sean Lehocky, and he doesn't get anywhere. Gets sacked right away in the backfield on one of his first plays from scrimmage as a Titan. And the defense for Heidelberg pretty much just doing a number on this Titan offense. But then the end of the first half, Kevin Franz trying to get some momentum. Nice pass down the sideline to Balosh. Jordan Balosh getting himself a nice 11-yard gain for a first down. And as a touchdown drive builds, Kevin Franz finds Chad Rossatelli, lobs it up for grabs, and Rossatelli's looking for it, grabs it, and ends up into the end zone, putting the Titans down by 25 at halftime, 35-10. And we are now joined by the Westminster Titan head football coach, Jeff Hand. Coach, thanks for being here with us today.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Andy.
Well, we've talked a lot about what's happened in preseason as well, but many people also have questions about what the mysteries are going to be for the team in preseason. Talk about what you were thinking about going into this season.
Well, going into the season, I mean, we knew we were going to have a good squad coming back. We have a good group of returners. We knew that we had a nice freshman class coming in, a good solid class of around 40, and we opened camp with about 99 players, and we finished camp with just under 95, so it was a great training camp.
Well, let's talk about last season. It was the first non-losing season in your tenure, and you talk about how people are wanting to improve on things from the previous year. What were you looking to improve on, most specifically defensively, from last season? Because the team gave up 29 points a game. What was the biggest thing that the team needed to improve on defensively?
Well, what we needed to improve on defensively is just consistency, and unfortunately, we didn't show that consistency this past week against Heidelberg. But that was what we needed to improve upon, and it wasn't that we weren't capable of playing great defense last year. We were. It was that we needed to play great defense all the time.
Now let's talk about how you had 3 key players returning coming right out of the gate. You had Nick McCloskey, who led the team in rushing last year. You had Kevin Franz leading the team in passing, and our player coming up later, Jordan Blinn, who led the team in tackling last year. What's it like to have some kind of cohesive feeling to see those 3 players coming back with all the experience they have?
Well, when you have returning players, it certainly makes you sleep a little easier at night going into the season. But the key is that these returning players need to understand that they are returning players and they need to step it up a little bit more.
Let's talk about the first half of this game a little bit. Obviously, it's a little more difficult when you're traveling on the first game of the season. Talk about some of the factors that could have possibly been involved with the team, especially when you do have to travel for an away game first time in the season.
Well, actually, we thought it went pretty smoothly. It's for the first time that I've been here that it seemed like we traveled overnight pretty well. And that's a good thing. I mean, and that's certainly improvement. That's certainly maturity on our part as a program. But ultimately, in the end, the result was not a good one.
Well, let's talk about something that was a good result. 2 milestones in that first half of the game against Heidelberg. You had Kevin Franz passing for his 4,000th career yard. You also had Fred Romeo kick his career-long field goal. As a coach, is it good to have those milestones, or is that something that you put in the back of your mind and just hope that they can get it out of the way?
Well, it's, speaking to the field goal, I mean, that definitely gives the kicker confidence, as you can inch back and be more successful at longer kicks, and, it gives you more and more confidence. And, as a coach, it gives you more confidence to try those. And then, as far as the 4,000 yards, I know that's a milestone that we didn't talk too much about. It was a milestone that we knew was on the horizon and we knew would occur. It's just a matter of when.
Okay, and since we're going to talk about what's happened in the second half as well, we're going to check out the second half highlights from the game. Now for the second half, Heidelberg up 35-10. Titans going to try and get some momentum going their way for a change, but Kevin Franz's first pass is intercepted right away, and Heidelberg seems like they came out of the locker room and were just ready to do some more damage. Scored on 9 of their 13 possessions for the game, and here's another one. Jamar Lewis running into the end zone for his second touchdown of the game, giving Heidelberg another score on the board. 42-10 is the Heidelberg advantage. And on the next kickoff, getting a chance to see the return team at work, and we'll see what Gubish can do. He has the ball, and he starts making his way up toward midfield, giving the Titans some really good field position. We thought he was going to do some big things on the return game this year, putting the Titans in excellent field position at the 40-yard line, as they are at a 38-point deficit at this point in the third quarter. But pretty much it was all Heidelberg. Watch this long run up here by Tim. Might not be the tool man, but he can still get the job done. Taylor running downfield against Jake Wolzinski and finds his way all the way inside the red zone down to the 13-yard line. Another long run play for the Heidelberg Student Prince offense. And then later in that drive, new quarterback for Heidelberg. Doesn't matter. Nice pass into the end zone. Another score for the Student Prince offense, and it was pretty much a tale of the Princes being crowned king in this game, as another corner pass to the end zone put them up there. Again, Sean Lehocky getting a chance to start for the Titans and passes out nicely to Gary Hutzler for a nice gain on first down there, getting a chance to get some experience, the young quarterback, and Kevin Franz flip-flopping their drives once in a while, and see Fred Romeo kicking another 34-yard field goal. That's going to tie his career long, which ironically he set in the first half. And now more drama building as Kevin Franz and Nick McCloskey trying to get something going. McCloskey with another nice run, pushing people out of his way to 15 yards on the gain, and just has such great leg strength. Next play, Franz in the pocket, looking downfield, finds McCloskey once again. Did a lot of good work in the passing game last year, showing no signs of slowing down. Look at him just pulling the pile. Took about 6 or 7 Heidelberg Student Prince players to just bring him down, let alone trip him up. And now Kevin Franz passes to McCloskey for his first touchdown of the season, and the Titans still trying to find their way to weave back into the game. Lehocky, again in the game, finds his receiver in the end zone for a touchdown, and the Titans trying everything possible to get back into the game, but it's too little too late as they fall to a hard one to Heidelberg, 62-27. Now, Coach, we saw in this entire highlight reel, we saw 9 of 13 possessions the Heidelberg offense scored. What were they able to do against the Titan defense to be able to score that many times?
Well, actually, they had a nice balanced attack. They were able to run the ball. They were able to throw the ball. Obviously that's not what we want, but they had a nice offense, and we didn't limit them. And I think that's key to any good defense is that you have to limit the offense and what they can do.
And you talk about limiting the offense. We saw that they seemed to feed off the big play. We saw a couple of 50-plus yard pass plays. We saw the 170-yard run play up the middle by Tim Taylor. Did you expect their offense to be able to operate that efficiently that early in the season?
Well, actually, we knew they were going to be good offensively, that's for sure. Did we think that they were going to be that good? No. I think it was a combination of two things that, they were a little better than what we may have thought going into the game, and that's everybody included in that. And also, we didn't play near as well as we had expected.
When you come into the first half, there are always some question marks. But going into the second half, did you see any improvement from the offense that was notable in being able to at least try to come back into the game?
Well, we definitely seemed more composed offensively, and we knew that we had to execute. We were under the gun, and although kind of the pressure was off, so to speak, at that point in time, but we did a nice job of keeping our composure and executing.
In the highlight reel, we saw a phenomenal catch from Chad Rossitelli in the end zone. It was a 25-yard pass play. And we noticed in the season before that he would get some more reps at the running back position, too. Is he more suited in the wide receiver position versus the running back position?
Well, actually, he was a hybrid player for us the past two seasons. And then this year, we wanted him to concentrate on one position. And we think, ultimately, the best position for him is where he's at, and that's wide receiver. And he does a great job with that, and he made that beautiful catch on Saturday for sure. A couple of them.
Let's talk about Heidelberg's defensive situation, because it seemed like you guys would get decent field position, and then as you got closer and closer to the goal line, it seemed like their defense tightened up and they were able to stop you guys. What did they do well?
Defensively, they played physical. They played fast, and they were able to get a lead. So then it kind of forced us into a one-handed, more rather than being able to be a balanced attack.
Now, as a coach, what is your attitude when you still see that the team is out there, still trying to play hard, trying to get back into it, and still trying to at least establish a rhythm?
Well, we're just looking for positives. We're looking for positives. We're looking for good things to happen. We're looking for sparks and things that we can build on, things that we can improve on, and it's definitely, the 27 points is something to build on.
Okay, Coach, well, we are going to actually take a break, and we're going to come back with more Coach's Corner. Your Pack Report is on the way. Stick around. Ready to get your broadcasting career off and rolling? Then it's time to explore your options by being a part of Titan Radio at Westminster College.
We try to run the radio station as closely as what might be found in the real world.
There's student anchors, student reporters, student producers.
It's really hands-on, and you learn a lot your first year.
From keeping the community informed,
I'm Pamela Marlowe with the Titan Radio News Update,
to keeping the community entertained.
Maroon 5, going out on tour again.
You'll get all the radio experience you could ask for, and more, only at Westminster College.
If we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
But a vehicle is more than price.
A whole lot more.
Gio Crivelli consistently invests in manpower, training, and equipment to deliver car buyers peace of mind.
From our state-of-the-art repair and service garage to our award-winning auto body repair center, Gio Crivelli is prepared to earn your trust.
Gas, stingy, and pallor to rugged Silverado, Gio Crivelli Chevrolet, Route 18, Newcastle.
And remember, if we can't beat the competition's price, we'll just give you the car.
Good evening, sports fans. I'm Christina Rosetta with this week's Pack Report. It was a rough opening week for the Pack as only Washington and Jefferson became the only team to muster out a victory this week. Westminster had an especially tough outing against Heidelberg College as the Titans were routed 62-27. Heidelberg took an early advantage by jumping out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. The Titans then faced a 21-point deficit minutes into the second quarter until a career-long 34-yard field goal by Fred Romeo went through the uprights to put Westminster on the board. However, the Titans' efforts could not elevate them above mighty Heidelberg as the Student Princes racked up 596 yards and 9 touchdowns en route to the victory. Despite the loss, the Titans displayed some bright spots. Quarterback Kevin France Quarterback Kevin France boasted 202 yards in the loss. With that performance, France became the 5th player in Westminster history to rush for over 4,000 career yards. France now has 4,089 yards on his career. Chad Rosatelli also tacked on a team-high 67 yards and 1 touchdown for the Titans, while tailback Nick McCloskey also rushed for 63 yards. Westminster will host Allegheny for its home opener this Saturday. Kickoff from Bury Stadium is at 1:30 p.m. W&J was the lone Pack team to come away with a victory on Saturday with a 49-35 win at Oberlin. President's running back Kurt Jones tallied 187 yards and an astounding 4 touchdowns in the victory. W&J quarterback Bobby Swallow totaled 351 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning QB sneak with 10 minutes remaining in the contest. W&J sealed the deal for good with a Bobby Swallow pass to Jones in the end zone to give the 13th-ranked Presidents the victory. W&J will host Frostburg State in a night game home opener starting at 7 p.m. at Cameron Stadium on Saturday. It came down to the wire, but Teal could not pull out the W in their home opener, dropping a 21-18 decision at versus Marietta. The Tomcats led 18-14, but a 58-yard drive by Marietta set up the game's final score and ultimately gave the Pioneers the win. Teal quarterback Willie Bova led the way for the Tomcats with 197 yards. Receiver Tim Van Horn grabbed 11 passes for 121 yards and 1 touchdown. Teal will travel to Albion College for a 1 p.m. game on Saturday. The rough week continued as Grove City suffered their first loss of the season to Dickinson College, 34-7. The Wolverines had 2 prime opportunities to score after recovering turnovers within the Dickinson 30-yard line, but could not capitalize either time. Grove City quarterback Andrew DiDonato racked up 167 yards, along with leading the Wolverines with 37 rushing yards. Grove City will host Carnegie Mellon University for their opener on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 1:30 p.m. Fresh off their inaugural season last year in the Pac, St. Vincent College dropped their season opener at home to McDaniel College 38-7. The Bearcats got out to a quick start when Antoine Barber intercepted a pass and ran down the sidelines for 75 yards for the St. Vincent touchdown. Both teams struggled on offense until the third quarter when McDaniel unleashed an unstoppable passing attack that shut down the Bearcat defense. While the passing game struggled with all 3 Bearcat quarterbacks throwing for only 45 total yards, the defense showed some promise. Antoine Barber boasted 9 tackles and a blocked kick to complement his interception for the Bearcats' lone score. St. Vincent will travel to Washington, D.C. to take on Gallaudet University at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Bethany also came up on the losing end in Week 1 when they dropped their season opener to Otterbein College 40-7. The Cardinals scored 30 seconds into the game and never looked back from there. Capitalizing off of Bethany turnovers and a weak defense, Otterbein blazed their way to the victory. Bethany quarterback Dan Pegg led the way for the Bison with 147 yards and 1 touchdown pass. Bethany will host Kentucky Christian University on Saturday. Kickoff from Bison Stadium will be at 1 p.m. Going down to Kentucky, Thomas More dropped its home opener as the Saints were routed by John Carroll University 41-14. The Blue Streaks jumped out to an early lead and dominated Thomas More on both sides of the ball. The Saints were able to tie the score at 7 on a Cordario Collier touchdown run. However, John Carroll would go on from there to score 34 unanswered points. Thomas More quarterback Trevor Stallman totaled 114 yards, while Collier rushed for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Saints have a bye week this week, but will open Pac play on September 20th as they travel to Waynesburg. Speaking of Waynesburg, the Yellow Jackets dropped a 27-6 decision in their season opener at Worcester. Waynesburg got a boost from freshman kicker Brian Arbus, who nailed a 44-yard field goal to put the Jackets up 3-0, but Worcester quickly responded, marching the ball down the field 67 yards for the touchdown. Interceptions proved to be fatal for Waynesburg as the Scots picked off 5 passes. Waynesburg was only able to nail another Brian Arbus field goal, but the Scots had already done the damage and got away with the win. Worcester also easily contained Jacket All-American Robert Heller, dealing a serious blow to the Waynesburg offense. The Jackets will look to rebound, though, with a road trip to Hanover, Indiana for a 1 p.m. matchup on Saturday. Finally, in this week's Pack Report, Geneva took on quite a challenge facing Division II Seton Hill University. Despite a hard-fought battle by the Golden Tornadoes, they were unable to come out on top, losing to the Griffins 27-18. Geneva controlled play for the bulk of the second half, but it was not enough to outlast Seton Hill, who led by 2 scores in the final minutes of the game. Geneva running back Antoine Jones rushed for 138 yards, while the Golden Tornado defense forced 3 major turnovers in the loss. Geneva will travel to Division III powerhouse Salisbury University on Saturday for a 6 p.m. night matchup. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Pack Report. I'm Christina Rossetto. Tune in next week. Stay tuned. More Coach's Corner is on the way.
Broadcast a big game just like the pros at ESPN? If so, the Broadcast Communications Department at Westminster College is where you need to be. At Westminster, you learn what it takes to be live out in the field. Westminster lets you learn all aspects, from behind the scenes in the truck, directing and running instant replay, to filming the action with a camera or announcing play-by-play. So if you want hands-on, live experience, check out the Broadcast Communications major at Westminster College. For more information, visit us online at titanradio.net.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then ncnewsonline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedule, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Andy Bortz. Thanks for being along. And I've finally found somebody on the football field that could come somewhere else besides running right to the ball. Wears number 6, and he's all over the place. Jordan Blinn, thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, it seems really neat that you have the title of team captain. Sounds like it has a nice little ring to it. Talk about how you would define yourself as a team captain. Like, what is the role of a team captain?
First, it's an honor, and second, I think a team captain is more just being a leader on and off the field, someone who tries to do the little things right, you know, and somebody that the underclassmen can look up to.
Now, talk about the goals for yourself for the season, because, you know, you come in here, you were the leading tackler last season. What are Jordan Blinn's goals for 2008?
I think more for me than anything is a conference championship. I don't think that individual goals mean as much if you're not reaching the ultimate goal, but I think if you can reach your ultimate goal, then all the other goals will fall in place for you.
Now let's talk about how you were the leading tackler last season. Jordan Blinn has the most tackles out of the Titan defense. Also has a nice ring to it. What's the key to Jordan Blinn's success? How does he find the ball every time?
Just pretty much pursuit, running, effort. You know, if you can go out there and give 100% effort, then, you know, field's only 50 yards long. You should be near the football.
And we're going to talk about a new defensive coordinator for you guys, too. Tom Watts coming in. What kind of impact has he had on you guys as a defensive squad this season?
He's had a pretty good impact. You know, we can relate to him pretty well. He takes time. We watch film. So I think he's been a pretty good influence on us.
Let's talk about team chemistry. You know, you've got a lot of your veteran players back this season, a lot of players on the offense coming back this season. We talked to Coach Hand about this a little bit before, too, but how big is it for you to know that some people that were on the team before and have the experience are back?
It's very big. I think one of the key things is reliability. You can trust the guy next to you to know that, you know, he's going to do the right thing, and you can fit off one another. So I definitely think that is a very, very big key for us this year.
Now, I think this might be the most interesting question that I have out of the bunch, because there's a new field here. There's new turf, new plaza, new everything. You've been on the field practicing on it. What's the biggest difference between a natural grass field that once was versus the turf field that there is now?
I think turf is it's going to be the same every time we play on it, whether it's rain, you know, snow. I mean, it's going to be the same regardless. So I think some of the games last year we had, you know, some rain, and it made it a little bit, you know, the surface was much more difficult to play on. But this year the ground is going to be, you know, always nice and soft, and will be the same conditions every year.
In the first game against Heidelberg, might not have been what you guys wanted defensively, but what did you guys do well defensively, in your opinion?
You know, I think the effort was there. I think that we wanted to, you know, we wanted to get some things started. I just think that their speed, we weren't ready for their speed. But I think preparing for Allegheny, I think we will be ready to go.
All right, Jordan, thanks a lot for being here. We appreciate it, and good luck in the future in the season.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more Coach's Corner after this.
How would you like to sit in a college classroom where you know everyone's name?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
At Westminster College, our students aren't just another face in a lecture hall of 200. They're people, individuals with a smile and a story eager to know you.
The other day I was sitting around...
Learn the skills you need while having a close relationship with your teachers and classmates at Westminster. So if you too want to be known by name, check out Westminster on the web at westminster.edu.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner. One final time, we check in with Titan head coach Jeff Hand. Coach, first game against Heidelberg might not have been the result you wanted, but do you use that as some kind of motivation to go into your next game, or do you just put it behind you and move on?
Well, actually, a little bit of both. I mean, I think that you hit on both things that you have to do. You have to put the game behind you, but you also have to learn from it. And I think a key is using it as motivation in a way that we didn't perform like we know we can perform and that we can get better.
Now talk about our next game against Allegheny. Defeated them last year in the season opener. Does that serve as any kind of motivation for the team going into this contest, especially in front of the home crowd?
Well, I think the home crowd is something that we're really looking forward to, and being able to, you know, they open the new facilities and the beautiful new plaza and entranceway and showing off the new surface is something we're really looking forward to, and I think our guys are too.
And the Fusco Plaza dedication coming up too. Do you ever think about what Coach Fusco has done for the team and use it maybe in your sense as maybe as some sort of role model type?
Well, actually, Coach Fusco, I mean, he's a great man, a great football coach, and has done some great things, and it's certainly an honor to be able to follow a coach like Coach Fusco and Coach Nicholson.
First game on the new turf. What do you anticipate?
Well, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a physical game. I think it's, you know, like it has been the last 5 years. I think it's going to be a close game. I think we have two good opponents out on the football field, and you know, the better team's going to win.
Coach Hand, really appreciate you being here, and thanks a lot for coming by.
Well, thank you for having me, Andy.
And stay around. More Coach's Corner coming up next week as the Titans take on the Allegheny Gators. Have a great one.